speaking of hardcore fans, I think it's time to talk about Eric's favorite topic, which is our quarterly torture of Roblox earnings report, which slayed once again. We are past 100 million DAU. I thought this would be the case in the summer. They reported, everyone sit down for this, brace yourself, 112 million DAU. They're up 41%
Jesus.
Year over year, 41% year over year in DAU.
And CPO left, by the way. I don't know if this is in your news. Because everybody's ready to sell their firstborn to be a CPO of Roblox.
The other thing that was interesting is we have our usual DAU by age and DAU by region. On the region side, we're seeing growth across a lot of different regions, so it's not just tier 3. And on the age group, I think we still have the same hypothesis. Is it people who are under 13 aging into over 13? But regardless, the over 13 is the one that's growing the largest. 71 million DAU are over 13, and about 40 million DAU are under 13. That's a very important statistic. So roughly 2/3 of their users are over the age of 13. I think that's another really important observation from them.
It's also, by the way, it's
bullshit.
also completely untrue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think it's untrue? Why do you think it's
bullshit.
untrue? The tracking?
No.
How do you track when
You
80%
don't track- you don't
have
is on
age-
mobile?
Yeah, you don't have age verification. All you do is that you have an opt-in and you tell them what age you are, and they're using it to get access to certain features on games. Period. End of sentence. Right. And
Yeah,
so
the question is, Eric, is like, why is that growing as a relative share? Why is the relative amount of over 13s growing? Have they done a change to have they restricted or allowed access to certain things based on age that would make people more likely to lie over time?
I mean, there's certain content that people want to get access to, and so they put the age gate on, but they know it won't impact them. So yeah, I'm sure that's part of it, right?
The true age is on the platform then, Eric. Do you think it's getting older? What do you think the true age on the platform is?
Oh, I think it's like the other way around, like 66, 33 probably, if I were to guess.
Okay.
I do think that the older age is going to games like Dress to Impress, Brookhaven. The more female-oriented games are able to sustain some of the older players. That's where I think it's going. But I agree, Chris, that a lot of that's bullshit, because with 80% of the audience on mobile, and we all know mobile doesn't track things and how difficult it is for mobile to track, that is very, very difficult for them to continue to understand with accuracy those numbers.
Look, I also want to say, like, I don't really care about engagement numbers. Like, these numbers, this matters to Wall Street a lot, right? But the bull thesis really on Roblox was all about Manuel and unlocking revenue. And unlocking revenue from those audiences that actually generate revenue, which is basically tier 1 English countries, right? So if the CCUs are growing and all this other stuff, that's great. But it's really about monetization, right? And that's what is more bullish for Roblox. And that's why when Manuel kind of took over, like, I think it was last June, like a year ago, he took over basically monetization. That was exciting. I mean, he's been working on it for a while, but he was actually more officially put in charge of lots of different aspects of them monetizing. So that's what was bullish. And him leaving is scary, right? To some degree. And so the fact that he's leaving makes me a little bit worried after about 4.5 years he's been there. And just to be clear, he did kind of the evolution of the creator economy in 2021-22, but in mid 2024 is when he really started to like actually make real big significant changes. The virtual billboard ads inside the experiences, which I think is stupid, but that was like the initial part of it. The launch of rewarded video ads, which is absolutely huge, right? Huge, right? That would happen in early 2025. July, creative awards, daily engagements, and audience expansions. And then the most recent thing was the licensing manager and IP license platform stuff that he's done. So anyway, so he basically became in charge in partnership, as I said earlier, with David and the CEO. And that was actually kind of, I think, what's driving lots of the new changes there. So look, I love the CCU. All that stuff is a great story, but that's not as relevant as what the monetization part of it, in my opinion.
So let me help you there. Because you're right here. We're looking at average bookings per DAU. And if you look at US and Canada, $40 average bookings per DAU. You look at APAC, $5.
Yeah.
You look at ROW, $5. You look at Europe, $10. So a US and Canadian user is worth 4x a European user, which is the second highest.
Right. And if you take out the UK out of Europe, it will probably be a lot worse. If you put that,
I think they're
we
poor
take
too.
UK out of
I
Europe
think they're poor.
normally.
Yeah, I don't think they're anything to write home about.
Yeah.
Sweden, different story. But that being said, 18% growth in year-over-year bookings for US and Canadian players as they've scaled the N2. They should be adding lower margin users, and maybe they are, but they've lifted the average so much that they're up 18%. That's still impressive. And I still don't think those initiatives, Eric, have come online fully too. Any of the
Yeah.
advertising initiatives.
Exactly.
Yeah, rewarded ads, as I've been talking to people, everyone's excited about it, but everyone's taking very much a wait and see because, you know, the tech is still kind of coming into place, the partnerships. I mean, Google is a major partner on this. The attribution needs to come into place for this to fully happen. I think we'll know more soon.
But this is where I think Eric is wrong about the engagement numbers, because engagement now matters when you have ads. So like, for instance, taking hours engaged in DAU, like you should multiply those things together. That becomes relevant because that's more time on the platform, is more ads you can watch. Again, I still think monetization will dictate eCPMs, but I don't think it's irrelevant anymore. It definitely matters to some degree.
You're right. That's a good point. You're right. With ads now, that does matter.
Yeah.
Particularly engagement in the US, right? Which clearly this grow your garden thing has been a huge hit in the US and tier one English countries. So does grow your garden even do in-ad shit?
I don't know yet. I haven't checked in on ads yet, but it's a really good point. So this is a chart that shows peak CCUs. And so what happens every Saturday at like 7 a.m. Pacific time, they update the game with new, you know, plants and all that stuff. And a lot of it is...
They do restocking too. I think there's so much in the game economy we should talk about too. I was wrong in my first assessment of this. I was completely and utterly wrong. Like, I was like, oh man, what could we learn from this? The game economy is very deep. There is a live ops strategy. There is a fuck ton going on in this game. This is not just some random game by a teenager. It's a machine.
It is the most egregious, gross example of monetization design ever concocted by man. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, it is like every fucking trap and like extraction mechanism for the customer. I mean, it's fucking beautiful. Like in its depravity, you know, it's just ridiculous.
If you could give an award for free to play, what did you used to call it? Like the egregious money grabbing of free to play of just
diabolic. I think he used diabolic.
Oh, what did you used to call it? You used to argue with Phil all the time of like the dark arts of free to play monetization. Like this game does all of it. All of it. But so the thing I wanted to hit just on the number side is Roblox itself hit a peak CCU of 33 million in mid-July, which is very much driven to these peaks. So Grow a Garden peaks in CCU on their weekends in the 20 to 22 million player range. And when you look at the number of visits, and I know visits in Roblox is a little bit of a vanity metric, but they've had 23 billion visits since the game launched. And the game only really launched in like April-ish. And so I've been following the growth of this. And when the kind of like influencer publisher guy like took it over and started posting, like his TikToks got like 30 million views. And that's how they really launched and like really grew the game. And so what he does is he gets out and basically shills the hell out of this each week, telling people what to be excited for. This game has not fallen off. You know, look at those peaks. You know, we saw those peaks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 peaks of 20 to 22 million TCU shows that it's not dying down yet. Like they're managing to keep live ops going.
Travis Kelce live ops event.
No,
let's go. We got some brand coming in to Grow a Garden. Now you know we're cooking. It's real, baby.
That's a good influencer, but it feels like totally out of the Venn diagram of a Roblox player. Travis Kelce, maybe.
Football player, podcast, personality, Taylor Swift, boyfriend. I mean,
could be.
Like he's an influencer now. And I think that's a whole other topic I want to do soon is I saw this data point that Gen Z and below are more influenced by influencers and content creators than actors and celebrities. So if you're a marketer, like stop wasting your time on LeBron James and go find, you know, the next like creator who these kids care about. Like even on this WWE documentary on Netflix, which was amazing. It was the first time they ever like tell you how wrestling works. they had a creator enter the Royal Rumble, which is one of their like flagship events. Speed. Poor guy like broke his leg or something, but
got crushed.
But like
Spoiler alert.
Something amazing, fascinating is they did this whole storyline. They didn't even have the cameras on it because they knew that the fans outside of the arena were going to film it and post it online to keep things going. Like, we do not understand how much the influencer and creator landscape is really generating more news and action than like our traditional stuff. Like, it's just so fascinating how it's changing. Okay. See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Later.